Although practice is important, many projects take multiple hours to complete, and not all of that time will be spent learning new things. So let's see if we can compress that down to just about 3 to 4 minutes while we build this very simple Flexbox design. So I'm David, founder of Skillbright.org. I have about 3 to 4 years of experience in web development, and I'm going to be building this design live and sharing my own thought process so that hopefully you can capture some of that intuition for building layouts on the web. So this is the design that we'll be working with. It's a very simple vertical Flexbox single column design. So I'm going to be using Tailwind CSS for this. You don't have to, but I'm just doing that for both simplicity and convenience. And I'm going to be using the CDN version, which is not recommended for production, but it is just faster because we don't need any build tooling. So I'm going to start off with just doing a simple Flexbox layout on the body itself. This is optional, but I just want to center our card. And for that, we're also going to make sure that the body extends all the way across the viewport height. Then just to show you what that looks like, we're going to make a simple div here that looks like a red square, and it should be centered. So there you go. Now we can actually make the card. So looking at the design, we can see it's surrounded. Okay, it has a little border and a shadow. So I'm going to estimate about 400 pixels for this. That's what I remember putting in the design. So 400 pixels. We don't need to set the height since that will be defined by the content. A simple padding of 6, which I believe is 24 pixels, correct? And then we'll do the border and the shadow. And then to round the corners, I'm going to go with about 24 pixels. So if we look at this, it looks kind of like that, which is good. We also need the font. So the font is Redux Pro from Google Fonts. We're going to go and look this up really quick. And then this will give you the embed code that you can put in the head of your HTML file. So we're just going to copy that and then just put it in here. And then that's going to allow us to use the Redux Pro font. But we also have to apply it. So I'm going to do that right here, Redux Pro. And we'll put quotes around it. Okay. So now we're down to the first element inside the card, which is this we use cookies header. So I'm going to do an H1 for that, the primary heading, since it is the biggest and the most important in the hierarchy. So remember, increasing numbers, smaller headings, also lower importance. So we use cookies. This needs to be slightly bold and then bigger text. So I'm going to go with XL. And then it looks black, so we don't have to change anything else there. Okay, maybe a little bit bigger. 2XL, maybe 3XL. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay, now for the paragraph. I'm going to copy the text here since it is pretty much just a placeholder. And we want lighter text and only slightly bigger than the base. And then also it looks a little bit gray. It doesn't look as black. Okay, good. There needs to be more spacing between these. So I'm going to add a top margin here. You can also do a Flexbox gap. Okay, and now down to the buttons. So for the button, obviously we need to style it, but first let's add the space between this bottom secondary button here and the paragraph on the top. So I'm going to say about 12, and then this needs to be the width of the card. We're going to round slightly. Let's say background is light purple and the text color is dark purple. Then we're going to say configure cookies, and also font should be light. So that looks a bit right. We need to have vertical padding though. So we're starting to get there. Okay, maybe a little more, and then also a lighter background and a lighter text color as well. Okay, maybe too much vertical padding. Too rounded it seems, so we can go maybe from XL to large, and looks mostly right. Obviously the padding on the card, this might be too low, so let's change that to 8, but only on the X, and then on the Y we'll have 4, maybe 6. Okay, and now we can copy this for the second button and just plop that right below. And I believe it was confirm choices. So this is a primary button, so the color is different, and then also we should remove the top margin to have correct spacing, but not entirely, obviously. And this is essentially just reversed, so the background should be dark And the text should be, I believe that's white. And then just confirm. Background could be a little darker, maybe 500. And it's looking mostly right. This should be a much larger gap. But all in all, I think these paddings could be adjusted slightly. I'm not sure what the exact values are. You can always look at the Figma design, of course, but this is mostly right. Maybe I'm just gonna play around with these values, maybe go back to 6 and 6. Yeah, pretty close, I would say. So you can always nitpick, you can get it to be pixel perfect, but that was my thought process running through it. It's a very simple layout, so you only have the Flexbox on the wrapper, which is the card, and that was pretty simple to implement.